Reviewer's Log, Stardate 26526. Season 1, Episode 28 of the original series introduced us to the Guardian of Forever, an ancient device built by who knows who that serves as a time portal. Dr. McCoy, not in his right mind, charged into it, whereupon Kirk and Spock had to go find him in early 20th century America because he screwed up the timeline and wiped out all of Earth. Well, today the Enterprise has returned to the Guardian, and apparently we know how to use it safely now.
Our mission is to assist a team of historians in the investigation of Federation history.
The travelers are returning.
Cease review.
What a trip, Bones.
There's Kirk and a random red shirt who actually gets to survive the experience. Spock is probably taking some last-moment tricorder readings or something. He's a glutton for information.
Orion at the dawn of its civilization. Even just observing, not touching anything for fear of changing some piece of history. What's the matter? Bones?
Who's he, Jim?
What do you mean, who's he? You know Mr. Spock.
Afraid I don't, Jim.
Nobody but Kirk seems to know who Spock is. Oh, the red shirt doesn't have any lines, so we don't know about him. They beam up, and Scotty doesn't recognize Spock either. This is getting weird.
I was expecting it to be one of the historians with you. But a Vulcan?
Explain yourself, Mr. Scott.
Sir?
I don't know what's going on, but the first officer of this ship will be treated with respect.
Captain, I assure you no one has ever treated me otherwise.
Who are you?
Well, I thought sure you'd know Thalen by now, Jim. He's been your first officer for 5 years.
In the absence of a qualified Vulcan, he has an Andorian first officer. We know the Andorians exist and not much more. I'm sure we have more information now, but when this was made, the philosophy was just go with it. Hey, I kind of like that.
Nothing. I can't find one thing we did when we were in the vortex that could possibly have affected the future.
But something was changed.
It seems, Captain, I'm the only one affected. The mission, the ship, the crew, except for myself, remain the same.
But I know who you are, and no one else aboard does. While we were in Orion's past, the time revision that took place here didn't affect me.
That means it was something specific to Spock. Let's try a search of his family history.
Sarek of Vulcan, ambassador to 17 Federation planets in the past 30 years.
That is not correct.
It is in this case.
I wish to ask a question. What of Sarek's family, his wife and son?
Amanda, wife of Sarek, born on Earth as Amanda Grayson. The couple separated after the death of their son.
That explains why nobody knows Spock. In this timeline, he's deceased.
The wife was killed in a shuttle accident at Lunaport on her way home to Earth. Ambassador Sarek has not remarried.
That part isn't surprising. In the original series, Sarek actually joked that he married Amanda because at the time it seemed like the logical thing to do. In a later series, he finally told Spock the truth. He married her because he loved her. It was against the rules to say that on Vulcan, so he kept the words to himself and just showed her. We're still decades away from that revelation, though. According to the records, their son Spock died when he was 7.
If we didn't change anything while we were in the time vortex, someone else must have. Was the Guardian in use while we were gone?
Yes, but it was nothing unusual. We were scanning recent Vulcan history.
What time period?
20 to 30 Vulcan years past.
Was there any notation on the death of Ambassador Sarek's son?
Yes. The boy is recorded as dying during the maturity test.
The Cause 1.
For being so logical and science-driven and practical, Vulcans have some strange customs. This one sends a 7-year-old boy out into the wilderness with no food, water, or weapons for several days. If he survives, he passes the test. I hope I don't need to finish that thought. We saw a few of the Vulcans' weird rituals and such when Spock went through Pon farr. His bride T'Pring was obviously boffing someone else, but she was bound by custom to marry Spock unless there was a challenge. If there was, the two dudes fought to the death. These are the folks that are more civilized than us barbarian Earthlings. Suddenly, Spock remembers everything.
The date was...
The 20th day of Tasmin.
How do you know this?
That was the day my cousin saved my life in the desert when I was attacked by a wild animal.
This cousin, what was his name?
I do not recall clearly. I was very young. He called himself Selleck. He was visiting us, but I never saw him after that.
Can we all see where this is going? Mystery cousin appears just when he's needed and then vanishes.
Spock, did Selleck look like you do now?
I believe so, Captain. And I know what you're thinking. It was I who saved myself that other time.
But this time, you were in Orion's past with us when the historians had the time vortex replay Vulcan history. You couldn't be in two places at once, so you died as a boy.
So, Spock, age 7, went out into the boonies, encountered a wild animal, and Spock, age 30, calling himself Selleck, saved him so he could grow up to be him. It's not quite that strange, but it's close. Regardless of the entanglements, Spock has to get going. The Guardian can put him on Vulcan at the time all this happened.
Earther! Barbarian! Emotional Earther! You're a tyrant, Spock. You could never be a true Vulcan. That is not true. My father, your father brought shame to Vulcan. He married a human. You haven't even mastered a simple Vulcan neck pinch yet, Earther.
It sounds to me like those boys are showing just as much emotion as Spock is, just of a different kind. But Spock tried to act on his. That's a no-no.
My apologies, visitor. I regret you are witness to that unfortunate display of emotion on the part of my son.
In the family, all is silence. No more will be said of it. Live long and prosper, Sarek of Vulcan.
Peace and long life. You are of my family?
My name is Selleck, an humble cousin descended of T'Pel and Sasak.
You might have noticed that we got Mark Leonard to do Sarek's voice. It is logical. We should not accept cheap imitations.
Spock. Spock, being Vulcan means following disciplines and philosophies that are difficult and demanding of both mind and body.
Yes, Father.
You constantly display your emotions. You have even been seen fighting in the street.
Young Spock understands Vulcan language well enough, but so far Sarek has only taught him how to say 2 words.
Yes, Father.
The time draws near when you will have to decide whether you will follow Vulcan or human philosophy. Vulcan offers much. No war, no crime, order, logic, and control in place of raw emotions and instinct. Once on the path you choose, you cannot turn back.
Yes, Father.
Told you. And I want to know why Sarek didn't give an equal sales pitch for Earth. He should try to be fair.
I hope you were not disturbed by my son's behavior, Selleck.
No, my Lady Amanda. Any child has much to learn. My young cousin has a more difficult road to travel than others.
You seem to understand him better than my husband.
It is difficult for a father to bear less than perfection in his son.
We know from the original series that Sarek was a hard man who was ashamed that his son was in Starfleet. He started to change after Spock saved his life, but to my knowledge, he never was what you'd call a nice guy.
The boy goes through the Cos-1 ordeal soon, does he not?
Next month.
But tomorrow is the 20th day of Tasmin.
Yes? Is something wrong?
I seem to have lost track of time.
While he's trying to figure out why tomorrow doesn't come for another month, Sarek is talking about the test with young Spock.
To survive for 10 days without food, water, or weapon on Vulcan's forge will demand more of you than anything ever has. To fail once is not a disgrace for others. If you fail, there will be those who will call you a coward all your life. I do not expect you to fail.
What if I do, Father?
There is no need to ask that question. You will not disappoint me. Not if your heart and spirit are Vulcan.
No pressure, kid. The way Sarek talks, it's like this reflects on him more than it does on Spock. If Spock fails, it proves his marriage to Amanda was a bad idea. That's apparently what happened in this timeline. When Spock died, Sarek was forced to split from his wife, and she died soon after. Sarek mourned her for the rest of his life. This timeline sucks. Even worse, Selleck is questioning his memory because he remembers going out to the desert tomorrow. One of the best things about when these science fiction shows start dinking with time is I get to come up with some of the most absurd sentences you ever heard.
Chaya, what if I'm not a true Vulcan like they say?
Every child needs a giant bear with a broken tooth to cuddle with when they're feeling down. Chaya is Spock's best friend. Meanwhile, Selleck Spock is still trying to figure out where his timing went wrong because his memory is clear. Tomorrow is the day his cousin saved him. But how can that be?
The Cos-1 ordeal is an ancient rite of warrior days. When Vulcans turned to logic, they reasoned they must maintain the tests of courage and strength to keep pure logic from making them weak and helpless.
Their logical minds really couldn't come up with a better test of strength than throwing 7-year-old children out with nothing for 10 days? That doesn't seem very logical.
No, Chaya. This is my own test. I have to do it alone. Stay.
There's the answer to Big Spock's conundrum. He took off on his own to prove something to himself. And like it or not, he has a pet big furry thing with claws as a companion. Suddenly, Cousin Selleck remembers what he did. Better get going, whoever you are. Sadly, Chaya lost that fight before Spock Selleck got there. That thing has venomous claws, and Spock's pet got some deep scratches.
Personal log. Something unexpected has again occurred. The Selat, Chaya, was struck by the poisonous claws of the Lamachia he fought. He is dying, unless we can find a healer, and soon.
We finally know what he's called now that he's dying. I'm not sure I can pronounce either of those words, but at least we know the critters are called something more than critters.
We cannot get him back to the city to a healer. He is too large to move.
Then what?
You are a Vulcan. What is the logical thing to do?
I can bring a healer here.
It is a long journey across the desert. There are many dangers. I will go.
No, this is my duty. No one else can do it for me. Will you stay with him?
Big Spock muses that this didn't happen before, and he's not sure what it might mean. Young Spock runs to get a healer before it's too late.
It will not be long now, old friend. You made the desert crossing most efficiently. You will not disappoint Sarek in your Kazwan.
I wanted only to help Ichaya. He was my father's before he was mine. To lose him...
A Vulcan would face such a loss without tears.
How?
By understanding every life comes to an end, when time demands it.
That's true, but time's demands really bite the big one every so often.
Loss of life is to be mourned, but only if the life was wasted. Ichaya's was not.
That's a fair point. Still, when you've had a pet for that long... Spock has never known a time when Ichaya wasn't there. His sailor was there when he was born. My kids were that way with our first dog, a terrier mix named Shadow. She raised all 3 of our kids. The only time she ever bit someone was when another kid was trying to bully one of my daughters. Eventually, she blew out both back knees and went blind and wasn't doing well. We were moving to a new state, and we knew the trip would be too rough on her. I did what had to be done and stayed with her till the end. And it's still the hardest thing I've ever done. I understand how young Spock feels when the healer says this.
It has been too long. No antidote known will save his life.
Is there nothing you can do?
I can prolong his life, but he will be in pain. Or I can release him from life. I will need your decision. He is your pet.
Release him. It is fitting he dies with peace and dignity.
Cousin Selleck has been explaining to him that Vulcans have feelings, but they control the emotions. The emotions don't control them. Losing someone hurts. You deal with it by understanding that this is the way of the universe. We all get a turn, and some turns end up being longer than others because we take our turns in an imperfect universe. Does it hurt? Sure it does. But he can channel that hurt into proclaiming Ichaya's heroic sacrifice to the other people by praising how Ichaya lived.
I regret having troubled you in any way, but it was necessary.
I trust you can explain why it was necessary.
There was a decision to be made. A direction for my life had to be chosen. I chose Vulcan.
We saw Amanda's brief reaction there, but she knew what he was going to decide. It won't stop her from trying to mother him, and that's okay. Incidentally, that's not a bad rendering of Jane Wyman. Good job.
It is good, then. You have comported yourself with honor. We will see Ichaya is brought home from the mountains.
Thank you, Father. If you will excuse me now, I have some business to conduct with schoolmates.
Business?
A demonstration of the Vulcan neck pinch. Our cousin taught me.
Selleck's work here is done, so it's time for him to head out as well.
You saved my son's life, Selleck. There is no way I can fully repay you for that.
Try to understand your son, Sarek of Vulcan. It will be repayment enough for me.
A strange request, but I will honor it.
I'm sure Sarek did his best to honor that request, but as we know from the first time we saw him, he didn't do a very good job of it.
I sent the others up to the ship. What happened?
One small thing was changed this time. A pet died.
A pet? Well, that wouldn't mean much in the course of time.
It might, to some.
Enterprise, this is the captain. 2 to beam up.
I don't think Captain Kirk has ever had a pet. A reasonable question to ask, especially after Spock's response, would be, how did losing Ichaya affect young Spock? Kirk has no idea what he's talking about. Among other things, Losing a pet changed the course of my daughter's life. Our dog chased a wayward frisbee into a busy street with predictable results. Over the next several weeks, my daughter started realizing how much she loved dogs and wanted to be around them, and maybe could help prevent that from happening to someone else. She went back to school and became a certified dog trainer. Pets matter. I think we need to go explain that to the captain. Okay, Scotty, 2 to beam up. Until next time. In the original series, Sarek. What was I have no idea what I was trying to say. Spock has to get going. The Guardian Slow down.